Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching, yes, the Yankees Entertainment and Sports Network.
Another beautiful day at George M. Steinbrenner Field in Tampa, and the Yankees have a new look outfield. Left field just got a little bigger as Aaron Judge will be out there for the first time this spring. Harrison Bader will be in his normal spot in center field, and Giancarlo Stanton will be in the spot he used to patrol every day out in right field. We welcome you to Yankee Spring Training presented by Montefiore Einstein. It is the New York Yankees this afternoon against the St. Louis Cardinals from George M. Steinbrenner Field in Tampa, Florida. As we get started here today, let's check out today's Volkswagen pitching matchup. It'll be the right-hander Jake Woodford going for the Cardinals. Pitched 48 1/3 innings with them last season. And Garrett Cole making his second start of the spring, coming off a good one, trying to build off that in his second start. We've got a lot coming up here as we get set for the Cards and the Yankees. One of two matchups between these two teams this season. Jack Curry will join me after this for the call of the game, and Garrett Cole coming up next. Training on Yes is presented by your local Ford stores. When it comes to putting in the work, there is no off-season. Ford, official SUV of the Yankees. For current offers, visit buyfordnow.com. Let's check out the Citizens Bank starting lineup as we get set to go here in Tampa. Again, the Cardinals and Yankees meeting twice this season, this preseason. And this is the starting lineup brought to you by Citizens Bank. For the Cardinals, it'll be the second baseman Brendan Donovan leading off. Dylan Carlson will DH and bat second. Jordan Walker, we'll talk a lot about him coming up. He's out in left field, young superstar. Juan Yepez is at first base. Nolan Gorman is at third. Alec Burleson playing right field today and batting sixth. Trace Barrera is catching. Mason Wynn is the shortstop. And Mike Antico is out in center field. And Jack, that is a young group of stars as Jack Curry joins me now that are rising through the system. A few of those will be the regular everyday guys, and they'll go up against Garrett Cole in a second start.
Right, Garrett Cole on the mound for the Yankees. You see his numbers on the 2022 season, Bob. Look right to that strikeout total. Set a Yankee franchise record with 257 Ks. He surpassed Ron Guidry. And the scouting report on Garrett Cole is about his durability. He threw over 200 innings last season. That doesn't sound like much. Only 8 pitchers in Major League Baseball did that. Diversity. He has the 5 different pitches: fastball, slider, curve, changeup, and cutter. And then the swing and miss. We already talked about that. The ability to get swings and misses with those pitchers. He is the Yankees' ace. David Cohn has talked about this. The ability to have a pitcher who can give you 200 innings that you can rely on every 5th day. It is so vital. It is so important. Everyone will have a number 1 starter on opening day, Bob. Not every team has an ace. Garrett Cole is an ace.
Well, let's take a look at the Yankees defense that will be behind him, and we mentioned it at the top of the broadcast. Aaron Judge getting his first rep starting in left field, having a little chat with some of the fans there. Harrison Bader in center, Giancarlo Stanton out in right. Around the infield, Josh Donaldson at third, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa at short, DJ LeMahieu playing second, Anthony Rizzo at first, and Jose Trevino behind the plate. And overall, these are a lot of the names, Jack, that we're going to see on opening day.
Including Aaron Judge, of course, and the first pitch from Cole. I took it away from you, Bob. This pitch clock, they're moving so fast. I had to do the play-by-play, but absolutely, Judge gets the look in left field. You see first game in left field since he was at AAA. He's played over 5,400 innings in the major leagues, Bob. He's never played an inning in left field.
You know, it's a collaborative effort, Jack. That's the way I look at it with the pitch clock now. We both have to be on top of our game and ready to go. Ready to say anything as, again, the pitch clock, 15 seconds when there's nobody on base. And Brendan Donovan up the middle. Nice stop by IKF. But Donovan's got a lot of speed, and he's safe with an infield single.
And you see IKF leaning out on that one, trying to smother it. He does stop it. But we're going to see, once he doesn't collect it right there, Donovan's going to be too speedy. That's an infield single to start the ball game.
So good range by IKF, obviously, and we're going to see a lot of that this season with the new shift rules, right?
Right. Both infielders have to be on either side of the bag. You have to have 2 on the left side, 2 on the right side. They also have to be on the dirt. They cannot be on the grass.
Well, Garrett Cole, again, coming off a good first outing against Detroit. 3 scoreless innings, a hit, and 4 strikeouts in that one. Dylan Carlson is the DH today. And Carlson fouling that one off. So you see the pace with which Cole works. And again, the pitch clock matters, but he's quickly ahead 0-2 here.
Right, and Cole talked about being more comfortable this spring, Bob, because quite simply, it's a full spring training. You look at his first 3 springs with the Yankees. The first one obviously short-circuited by COVID. The second one impacted by COVID. The third one started late because of the negotiations over the CBA. So he talked about being really comfortable, and you absolutely want your #1 starter to feel comfortable. And he's a meticulous pitcher on the mound. A lot of thought goes into every pitch. We mentioned the fastball. He's got the 2 breaking pitches as well. The changeup and the cutter are also part of his arsenal.
And another 0-2 pitch up high. Those are 2 straight fastballs at 98. Not surprising he can hit 98, but what about in his second spring start?
I think it's great news for Cole. It shows that he came into camp ready, and you're right, Bob. He averaged 98 on his fastball for all of last season. So to come in his second outing and to already be sporting that velo, that's a positive sign. You see the slider fouled off by Carlson. Brian Hoke had an interesting nugget this spring saying that Cole talked to Guidry about his slider, and not surprisingly, Guidry's advice, pretty simple. Don't think about it, just throw it.
1-2 pitch to Carlson. Ooh, inside fastball just misses. Cole wanted that one. They looked to see if he had checked himself. He did. Evens the count at 2-2. It's funny you said that, because I was thinking with the pitch clock, sort of that you have less time to think. You just have to do, right? But if you're a hitter and a pitcher.
And I actually think that philosophy, when you get to this level and you're as talented as these players are, less is more. David Cohn always talks about that as we see the throw over to first base. Paul O'Neill has talked about that at the plate. Going up there with a plan, but not trying to overthink it. And Bob, by the way, you said close miss on that 1-2 pitch. Our colleague John Flaherty would call that a great miss. There was nothing that Carlson could do with that pitch. He was so tied up. It was a close miss. A lot of times you will tie a batter up.
Goes fastball 98 miles per hour there. Strikeout #1 on the afternoon for Garrett Cole, and his 5th so far this spring. Another look at that pitch.
Yeah, just coming right back with the heat. Believing that Carlson's not going to be able to catch up with that and getting the K. Carlson played 126 games, by the way, last year for the Cardinals. 128, hit 236.
So this is Jordan Walker now, made it up to Double-A last season, and he is the storyline of the spring, Jack, for the St. Louis Cardinals. Didn't play Triple-A, one of their top draft picks, considered their #2 prospect and maybe top 5 in all of baseball, and he has a chance to actually make the opening day roster.
All right, he's 6'6". You can see he's a towering presence in the box. Little ground ball to third here. Donaldson is going to whip it across. They're going to get the 5-3. Are they calling that foul ball? I think that was a fair ball.
I believe he called it a foul ball, and I think there's some confusion on that, actually. That was a call by third base umpire Sam Birch.
Yeah, third base ump. Wow. He goes foul, and then he says fair. So they teach umpires to be definitive with your calls. And after Birch initially said foul, he said fair. I thought it was fair the whole way. But getting back to Walker, Bob, you bring up a great point. Hasn't played at Triple-A, but the talk around the Cardinals camp is about the spring that he is having. How about the game he had against the Nationals last Saturday? 4 for 4. 2 home runs, 1 a 470-foot shot, one a 450-foot shot. So opening up some eyes and trying to put some pressure on the Cardinals to see if there is a roster spot for him on opening day.
Well, this is Juan Yepez. He's at first base. Of course, first base would be a need for the Cardinals. Albert Pujols retired. Of course, he didn't play there all the time. He was primarily a DH. But certainly some opportunities for Yepez to open some eyes. And he's one of these players that some people feel maybe he doesn't begin the season on the opening day roster, but at some point he gets a call-up.
Right, a DH possibility as well. A guy who is in there today, and we should talk, Bob, about some of the players who aren't in there. No Goldschmidt, no Arenado. The Cardinals actually have 13 players competing in the WBC. So though we are seeing some of their potential opening day players today, we're also seeing some of their prospects.
Cole ahead 1-2 with Donovan on second. And goes fastball again, so clearly feeling good about that fastball and trying to establish that early.
And as I watch Cole, Bob, I'm trying to watch all of these pitchers and figure out what they're going to do in terms of the pitch clock. And right there, Cole did not release the pitch until there were 3 seconds left on the pitch clock. I totally believe that the pitchers have the advantage. Even now, watch the clock going down. All right, that time he's going to release the ball at around 4. But once the hitter is in the box, now they do have one timeout that they can call. But once the hitter is in the box and has established himself, you've heard Max Scherzer talk about this. Boy, the pitcher is in the driver's seat because he is dictating the action. He can wait until there's 1 second left, and the hitter is just kind of waiting.
As he does there with Cole, and fouls that one off as well.
Pretty consistent so far these last few pitches, releasing the pitch at about 3 or 4 seconds, but I'm sure Cole is going to use that to his advantage, as every pitcher will try to do.
Now, is it possible, again, with a man on base and a 20-second pitch clock, that as you wait till 4 or 3 seconds, 2-3 pitches in a row, if you lull him, now you could quick pitch him, perhaps catch him off guard?
100%, and that's where I think the gamesmanship comes in. He comes back with another heater, and Yepez is able to foul that one back. But it'll be fascinating to watch this season. It's a new game. Theo Epstein, who was involved in these rule changes, obviously the former GM for the Red Sox and the Cubs, he was quoted as saying that with all of the changes that have occurred this year, it's the biggest change rules-wise in Major League history, and I think he's right. There's something impacted on every pitch, Bob.
You saw the quick timeout there by Yepez as he got reset in the box. Cole pitching that one with 10 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, misses outside with the knuckle curve. This is your opportunity. Obviously, when you're Cole, you want to feel good about all your pitches. We've seen a lot of fastballs this inning. I believe that's the first knuckle curve we've seen. He's also featured the slider.
Two-two pitch. Fastball in on the hands. And that'll be a pop to short. Connor Falefa has it. And that will do it. So Garrett Cole setting down the side, leaving a runner stranded on second. Yankees first licks coming up next on Yes. We're back with the Citizens Bank starting lineup for the Yankees this afternoon, and it begins with DJ LeMahieu at second base, Aaron Judge out in left field, Anthony Rizzo at first, Giancarlo Stanton batting cleanup in right, Josh Donaldson at third, Harrison Bader in center, Aaron Hicks is the DH today, Jose Trevino doing the catching, and Isaiah Connor Falefa at short. You see the numbers for Judge this spring so far, 4 for 8, couple homers 2 days ago. Jack had his first home run of the season, and those are the first 3 batters that we saw, LeMahieu, Judge, and Rizzo, that will go up against Jake Woodford.
Right, 62 homers for Judge last season. He gets the first one out of the way this spring, and he will get an opportunity to face Woodford. You see what Woodford did for the Cardinals last year, mostly out of the bullpen. He had that one start. He is a sinker slider pitcher. He will throw those 2 pitches more than 60% of the time. He's a contact pitcher, Bob. In this era of big throwers, he does not strike out a lot of batters, about 6 per 9. And he's a Tampa kid. He's from Plant High School. He's actually high school teammates with Kyle Tucker of the Houston Astros and Pete Alonso of the Mets. Alonso was a couple years ahead of Tucker and Woodford. So how would you like to face that high school team?
That would not be an easy task for any high school pitcher. LeMahieu ground ball to third base and one away. Let's take a look at the defense. Behind Jake Woodford, it's Walker, Antico, and Burleson in the outfield. Gorman, Wynn, Donovan, and Yepes at first base. Barrera behind the plate, and Woodford is on the mound. And, of course, their big offseason signing, we see Tres Barreras in the competition to be backup catcher. They signed Wilson Contreras in the offseason to replace the retired Yadier Molina.
Yeah, it's going to be weird to watch a Cardinal game this season and not see Yadier Molina back there. Just a presence behind the plate for so long for the Cardinals. Obviously, you mentioned Pujols. He came back and finished his career with the Cardinals. And Judge is going to welcome Woodford. Not welcome to Tampa. That's his hometown, but he's going to knock that one into right field for a single.
It's a welcome back, welcome home with a single. And by the way, that home run the other day, Jack, to right field, and Judge using the opposite field again.
Yeah, see a little backup breaking pitch come inside, right? And Judge, the ability to wait on pitches, it's such a valuable trait for any hitter, and Judge has that ability. He's not just going up there looking to pull the ball. He's going up there recognizing pitches, going the other way, and putting himself on first base. And earlier this spring, Bob, he talked about maybe wanting to run a little bit more. And we know that the distance between the bases is shorter because of the bigger bases. He also talked about maybe using the pitch clock in your favor, and knowing that pitchers can only throw over 2 times, and if they throw a 3rd time and don't get you, it would be considered a balk.
Anthony Rizzo looked at strike 1 from Woodford. Woodford down low, evens the count at 1-1. Now, Rizzo is in the spotlight this season because of the new shift rules. And people think that, let's say, for example, where Judge just hit that ball, Rizzo might benefit from being able to take advantage because of his pull nature.
Yeah, I think he absolutely will. Every hitter who is someone like a Rizzo who hits line drives to that spot repeatedly probably knows how many hits they were cost last year. But look where the Cardinals are playing in terms of you can't shift, but in terms of where shortstop Mason Wynn is, he's about as close to where he's allowed to be as he can get.
1-2 pitch to Rizzo. And up high, 2-2. You know, you mentioned just one thing to keep an eye on today with Woodford in the game. Not a big strikeout guy, so the Yankees should be able to make contact, get the ball in play, and see if they can make some things happen.
Yeah, I mentioned sinker, slider. That's his bread and butter. He also throws a 4-seamer, a curve, and a changeup once in a while.
Ground ball to second. They'll try and turn 2, and they do. So a 4-6-3 double play. That'll end things here in the bottom half of the first inning. We take it to the top of the second, scoreless in Tampa. State-of-the-art healthcare in New York City, Westchester, and the Hudson Valley. Great to have you with us here on Yes and the Yes app. Bob Lorenz and Jack Curry with you. Justin Shackle will join us in just a bit as well. Top of the second for Garrett Cole as he faces the 5, 6, 7 hitters for the Cardinals, beginning with Nolan Gorman. Got in 89 games for the Cards last season, 14 home runs, 35 runs batted in.
Kind of interesting when you look at Cole's splits from last year, Bob. Right-handed batters hit .229 against him, 16 home runs. Left-handed batters lower, 182 with 17 home runs. Obviously, the home run was a problem for Cole. He gave up 33. He spoke about that at the beginning of spring training. And he said, listen, I'm a strike thrower, and batters know that. And in counts where he needs to throw a strike, he's going to be around the strike zone. And he feels like that was part of the reason why that number ended up being 33, because he's going to go up there and challenge hitters.
Gorman getting the start at third base today. Obviously, their starting third baseman is another Nolan Arenado, but as Jack mentioned, he's off the WBC. So Gorman getting a rep at third. They can also put him at second, though they don't love to, so he can move around a little bit. And a swing and a miss. Second strikeout of the afternoon for Garrett Cole.
Aaron Boone After Cole's first stint this spring, called Cole's fastball electric, I have a feeling he could use the same word to describe it today already. We're seeing the fastball come out of Cole's hand so nicely. You talked about the velocity, Bob. We've seen the location as well. Looks like Trace Barrera is at the plate for the Cardinals. The catcher. You mentioned Contreras earlier. He is vying for a potential backup behind him.
Spent some time with the Washington Nationals last year before signing with the Cardinals.
Like that ball bounces up and hits him right back in the face here, Bob. Yeah, hits him in the cheekbone. While they tend to him, the athletic trainer does, got to give the WBC a little play, Bob. I watched the opener last night, some of the Netherlands against Cuba. Old friend Didi Gregorius hitting cleanup for the Netherlands. He had a run-scoring single. Hensley Meulens, the former Yankee coach and the former Yankee, is actually managing the Netherlands, and the Netherlands beat Cuba 4-2.
And a ground ball second base. LeMahieu on to first, 2 away.
Mike Harkey, of course, the Yankee bullpen coach, is also part of that Netherlands staff. So a lot of talk about the WBC across the next couple of weeks.
U.S. plays its first game against Great Britain on Saturday. It'll actually be a Cardinals pitcher, their ace Adam Wainwright, who starts that game.
Moises Gomez steps into the box against Cole. I mentioned this with Ryan Rucco the other night, Bob. WBC, I'm a fan. I love watching it. I've covered a couple of them. But when you're a manager or a general manager and suddenly your players are departing, you're excited for them. You want them to be excited as they represent their country and help grow the sport globally. But you've also got your fingers crossed, and you're saying to yourself, please come back healthy. For the Yankees, it's Higashioka, Gleyber Torres, and Jonathan Loaiza who are competing.
Crisp fastball at 96, even to moves Cole ahead in the count, 1-2.
There's something to be said about number one, right, Bob, when you've got the ability to throw that fastball or a slider like that.
Well, that's a good follow-up to that fastball. So 2 strikeouts in the inning for Garrett Cole. We head to the bottom of the second in Tampa. Check out the largest selection of authentic caps, t-shirts, collectibles, and more. Gear up with your Yankees at MLBshop.com. Great to have you back as we head to the bottom half of the second inning. Giancarlo Stanton, the leadoff hitter this inning, batting fourth this afternoon and playing right field, which we expect to see more of this season.
Right, the Yankees have talked about moving Judge over to left, which we're seeing today. You keep Bader in center, you put Stanton in right field, and that opens up the DH slot. You know they've got an extra infielder, so on any given day it could be Donaldson playing third base and LeMahieu being the DH. Today it happens to be Hicks who's the DH, but I like this move, Bob. I like the Yankees giving themselves flexibility. There is a competition in left field. We've talked about Hicks and Oswaldo Cabrera and Florial on the outside looking in. Ortega is a non-roster invitee who impresses them. But if you are able to get Stanton out in the outfield for a decent amount of time, and no one's asking him to play 100 games out in the outfield, but he's athletic enough to play X amount of games, and that gives you more flexibility as a manager when you're Aaron Boone.
Staring at an 0-2 pitch from Woodford, took it down to 1 on the pitch clock and goes up high, 1-2.
Stanton played 72 games in the outfield in 2018. His first season as a Yankee. Since then, 77 games total in the outfield.
Woodford just missing inside, 2-2. Well, that's a stunning turnabout in terms of games played and the ability to play. I mean, we know he's been injured sometimes, but if you can just keep him out there, and as you said, he feels more engaged, why not take that shot right now when he's still physically in his prime? Little squibber down. Doesn't need to be all about exit velo, JC, as he beats it out.
He hustles that one out. A little squibber past first base. One more look at this, right? The king of exit velocity, Giancarlo Stanton. It's in on his hands. just punches it the other way. We say Yepez make the play and the toss to Woodford, but Carlo was going to eat it out. You watch Giancarlo Stanton, Bob. We're talking about an athlete. One more look at this. He gets in on the hands from Woodford. He's able to fight it off, and his teammates will have a little fun with him because, as I said, this is a guy who can hit a ball 120 miles an hour. That one was probably about half that. But he's an athlete, and get him in the outfield and allow yourself to have some options. And on top of that, Stanton has been quoted as saying he feels more in the flow of the game when he's playing the outfield. Why? Because you're not just focused on hitting. When you're the DH, you've got one thing to think about, your next at bat. You're out in the outfield, you're thinking about where you have to position yourself, what is the team doing defensively, so you're not just focused on that one thing.
Josh Donaldson on a 1-1 pitch. Woodford missing away, 2-1. Donaldson looking for that bounce back season. We talked a lot about this in the offseason so far, Jack. Not defensively. He was solid defensively and at third, Gold Glove caliber, but just got to get that bat back on par to what his career numbers are.
All right, last year, disappointing season for him. There's no two ways about it. Hit 222, had an OPS of 682, 15 homers, 62 runs batted in, 148 strikeouts. And even a lot of the under-the-hood numbers that had impressed the Yankees, the exit velocity, the hard hit percentage, the barrel percentage, those all dropped from his season before with the Twins.
Looks like he fouled that one off his back leg, 3-2.
Interesting. I went back and watched an interview that Donaldson did with Mark DeRosa of MLB Network, who is also, by the way, the manager of the USA WBC team. And it was just how technical that Donaldson is about swinging. And the one thing he kept talking about, Bob, was he wants his swing to be effortless bat speed as he takes that breaking pitch outside for a walk. And there are so many parts of the kinetic chain as he works his way through his swing. And it's why, as he struggled last year, I just imagined how often he was going back to video and going through so many parts of his swing. Because for him, it's about getting anchored on that back leg. He says he stays anchored on his heel because that allows him to stay balanced in his hip. But whatever he tried to do last year didn't work, including his struggle against fastballs. Hit 201 against fastballs.
Harrison Bader swings on a sinker and fouls it off 0-1. Bader with a postseason that really grabbed everybody's attention when he finally got healthy. Those 5 home runs in the postseason. And now looking to build on his first full season in pinstripes. Ground ball third. They'll look to turn 2. Bader's got speed, but they got him. So Stanton advances to third, but there's 2 away.
Yankees got Bader for his defense, but from the Cardinals, so he's facing his former team. But as you mentioned, Bob, postseason, 5 home runs. There are only 5 Yankees who have ever hit 5 home runs in the postseason. The first 4 names: Reggie Jackson, Bernie Williams, Alex Rodriguez, Giancarlo Stanton, and Harrison Bader has squeezed himself into that equation with what he did last year.
And by him being traded, helped open up a spot for some of these Cardinals outfielders to try and earn a job this spring, including Jordan Walker, somewhere in the outfield.
That was the trade for Jordan Montgomery. At the time when it was made, the Yankees acquired a player who was still injured. Bader was still coming back from a leg injury, but they valued his defense. And if you look at what he is able to do defensively, since 2018, Fangraphs has him with 46 defensive runs saved. That is the 6th best among outfielders. And Bob, you do not throw the Bader shirt away. You hang on to that jersey.
Well, another player looking for redemption in 2023 is Aaron Hicks, who fouls that one away on a 2-0 pitch.
Bob, Aaron Hicks did an interesting interview with Meredith the other night in which she asked him about the left field situation and how Boone and Cashman have both said it's an open competition. And Hicks said, I consider that my job. And I think that's what any player should say. Hicks had a down year last year. He will admit it. 8 home runs, 40 RBIs, hit 218, slugging percentage was only 313. What are you going to do in spring training to change your team's mind about what they might be thinking in left field.
Facing a 2-2 pitch. And lifts that one out to right field, but drifting foul and into the seats.
You mentioned Rizzo before in the shift, Bob. Hicks was shifted more than any other Yankee hitter last season. So we'll see in 2023 how that impacts him. He's also made some adjustments at the plate, keeping his hands higher in the zone. He thinks that that will allow him to get to some pitches up in the zone that he felt he was missing last year.
2-2 pitch. And lifts that one out, just knuckles it into center. Nice play there as Mason Wynn comes up with the catch, and that will do it. Yankees leave Stanton stranded on third. We'll take it to the top of the third. To you by Montefiore Einstein, state-of-the-art healthcare in New York City, Westchester, and the Hudson Valley. With a spotlight on Frankie Montas, he underwent right shoulder surgery on February 21st. He said no doubt he will pitch this season, expecting to throw in 9 to 10 weeks. And with that in mind, let's bring in our Justin Shackle. And Justin, you had a chance to talk to Montas. What did he have to say?
Hey, Bob, he was in the Yankees clubhouse this morning meeting with some reporters, and he did not hesitate when asked whether he'd pitch this season at some point. And he also shed a little light on what happened last year after the trade from Oakland. He said he's disappointed with the way that his Yankees career has unfolded so far, and that he didn't fully feel 100% physically after the trade last season. He said he was trying to pitch through some pain, help his new team. He wanted to show them what he could do. He said in the end, surgery was the best decision after he spent some time trying to rehab his shoulder in the offseason.
Cole trying to come a little too far inside on Mason Wynn there and hits the leadoff batter, brings up the number 9 hitter, Mike Antico, the center fielder.
Justin, was he more specific about what didn't feel right? Was it the shoulder? Is that something that was bothering him leading up to that trade?
He didn't pinpoint the exact injury he was talking about, but he did admit not feeling fully healthy after coming over here.
Snap throw by Trevino over to first, and trying to catch Mason Wynn over there, napping. Wynn has some speed. Justin, I know, speaking of a guy who was injured, and one more look at that snap throw by Trevino. That Nestor Cortez Jr. or Nestor Cortez is coming back from a little bit of a hamstring issue. What is the latest on him?
Yeah, that injury slowed his spring a bit. He has yet to appear in a Grapefruit League game, but Cortez threw in a simulated game on a backfield today. He threw 3 simulated innings. It was alternated with Davy Garcia, so he got up 3 times, sat down, and I am not yet to speak with Cortez. Perhaps we could do that before he leaves the ballpark today, but everything seemed on par. Looked like he got through it no problem, so a good sign, good step forward for Nestor Cortez.
Well, that is certainly a good sign. Justin, thank you for that.
So, Bob, as we were talking to Justin and we had that throw to first from Trevino, a lot of people have wondered what are some loopholes with the rules. Now remember, a pitcher can only throw over twice, and if you throw a third time and don't pick off a runner, it's a balk. There's no limitation on the catchers and how many times they can throw. So there has been a lot of talk amongst teams about when you have a catcher and it's someone that you trust and it's someone that has a strong arm, look out for the possibility of a lot of back picks, a lot of catchers trying to catch the runner napping over there. And if a pitcher doesn't want to necessarily throw over and doesn't want to use up those tosses to first base, another way to keep a base runner honest is to have the catcher firing down to first base a couple times.
Big secondary lead by Wynn as Antico strikes out. For Cole, his 4th strikeout of the afternoon.
Yeah, Cole's stuff is just lively. We used the word electric before, but the fastball has some life up in the zone. We've seen a good slider.
And back to the top of the order, Brendan Donovan, who singled in his first at bat, was left stranded at second base. Jack, I want to add one more thing to that Trevino thing. Is it just me overstating it, or is it the fact that he threw over there with a left-hander in the box? So maybe shielded a little bit from the runner who might not see him throwing over there.
Oh, I'm sure that plays into it. And there he goes.
And safe. So Wynn stealing second base on Trevino.
One more look at it. And he didn't have the biggest lead. He gets a good jump, good throw by Trevino, but Wynn is just a superior athlete and one of many solid St. Louis Cardinals prospects. Last year, he stole 43 bases at the minor league level, was only caught 5 times. Hit .283 at a .364 on base percentage. He's only 20 years old. Bobby's got a 435-foot homer this spring. And in the Futures game that he played in from shortstop, he had a throw to first base on StatCast 100 miles an hour.
Wow.
This guy in the mound.
Big arm. That's what they're talking about. Yeah.
And he did one interview this spring with a St. Louis reporter when he was asked about that StatCast number, if it still held. He very calmly said, I'm sure it still holds until I break it, until I get ready and I rip one off that exceeds 100 miles an hour. He is the number 50th prospect in all of Major League Baseball, according to a MLB pipeline.
One away here in the third on the Antico strikeout. Wynn at second, and the 3-2 pitch to Donovan. Burns a fastball on the inside corner. That is a beautifully spotted pitch for strikeout number 5.
Bob, if you wanted to talk to a young pitcher about pitching with runners on base and paying just enough attention to the base runner, but really focusing on the batter, Cole, in a condensed period of time because of the pitch clock, did a terrific job of keeping an eye on Wynn, but also keeping his focus on the batter. And then, as you said, just dotting the inside corner with that fastball.
Goes with a cutter to Dylan Carlson, leading things off here in his second at bat. He struck out Carlson back in the top of the first.
He was calm. He was under control. IKF did a good job of shadowing Wynn. He's right behind him. He would be playing there anyway with a lefty batter at the plate. That's probably a good spot for where IKF would be. So I thought that was a bit of a lesson for a young pitcher from Cole right there.
He also felt comfortable enough taking a second look at Wynn at second base. And again, maybe that's part of that gamesmanship. Make Donovan wait a little bit for that next pitch.
And you really have to adapt as a pitcher. Yes, we see the clock off to the left. Garrett Cole's not really peeking at that clock. He's peeking at Wynn right now. So you just have to know in your mind how much time you have.
That ball fouled off as he tried to just get out of the way of it. So 1-2.
Mentioned the 200 inning plateau earlier that he exceeded. Bob, the last Yankees to exceed 200 innings pitched in a season happened a decade ago. CC Sabathia and Kuroda both did it.
1-2 pitch fouled away again. And I think we both agree he deserved a better fate than 13 wins last year. There were some games that he kept his team in it, and they just weren't able to get him those extra runs to make him, let's say, a 16-17 game winner.
I agree with you on that. He pitched to a 3.5 ERA. I'm sure in Cole's mind, he believes he's a better pitcher than that. But right, there were a couple of games that got away.
1-2 pitch. Another rippling fastball across the plate. So he struck out the side in the inning, hit a batter as well. We're scoreless as we take it to the bottom of the third. Training brought to you by your local Ford stores. We are in the bottom half of the third inning at George M. Steinbrenner Field in Tampa. The Yankees will send the 8-9-1 hitters up against Jake Woodford. Starting with Jose Trevino, an all-star last year, the Platinum Glove winner. And Jack, what an incredible season for him. A late addition in the spring for the Yankees. It just burst on the scene.
I'm glad you brought that up. I was about to say, a year ago at this time, Trevino is with the Texas Rangers, and he joins the Yankees at the end of spring.
Well struck to right center field, but Antico's there, one away.
And it's one of those moves at the time where it was considered, let's be honest, a minor move. The Yankees have added another catcher. And what does Trevino do? Well, you just detailed part of it. Makes the All-Star team, wins the Platinum Glove. His framing ability is just off the charts. Pitchers love throwing to him. And he has the ability to steal strikes. And that's what organizations are looking for in their catchers. They want athletic catchers who get low in the zone, because about 3/4 of the pitches that you're going to be able to steal for strikes are in the bottom third of the zone. And Trevino does that better than anyone in baseball.
Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, the number 9 hitter. And a swing and a miss, and quickly behind 0-2. And a little chopper foul as he stays alive on that outside pitch.
We've talked about the shortstop battle in spring training. IKF, Peraza, Volpe. Peraza actually has been dealing with a calf injury, tweaked his leg running the bases, but Aaron Boone said not a big deal, expects him to be back in there tomorrow. I thought with what he did last September, Bob, that Peraza, even though the Yankees might not say it publicly, kind of looks to me as the guy who should be the favorite at the shortstop position. But when Aaron Boone and Brian Cashman have been asked about it, they've talked about wanting to see what unfolds this spring. We know Volpe has had a terrific spring. IKF is someone's name who has been mentioned in trade rumors. So about 3 weeks left to find out who's going to be manning shortstop.
Well, you find out a lot about competition and the competitive nature of guys when they're battling for a spot. We're seeing that not only at the shortstop position, but in left field as well.
Right, the two areas where the Yankees knew coming into spring training they had some questions. The 5th starter spot also became a question with the Montas injury, but I think Herman is the guy there. I know Clark Schmidt is competing for it, but Herman has done so much more than Schmidt at the major league level that I think you expect him to be the number 5 guy.
To IKF's credit, he was behind 0-2. He has been battling here in this at-bat, fouling off speed pitches to stay in this at-bat. Let's see if he can make something happen. Woodford goes with yet another breaking ball. Hard hit to third base, but it's a 5-3 and it's 2 away.
Hard hit by IKF, but collected at third base by Gorman. And what did our scouting report say about Woodford, Bob? Contact pitcher. He has faced 9 Yankees. He hasn't struck out any of them, but he also has only given up 2 hits. He hasn't given up a run, and he's gotten them to hit the ball on the ground because of his sinker. He's got a couple of double plays to his credit. I mentioned Plant High School before with Woodford. When he was in high school, his high school coach felt that he was shaking off from his sinker too much. This was from a story in The Athletic. And the coach told him, I want you to go out there in this game today and just throw sinkers. Do not throw any other pitch but your sinker. Woodford did. 7 no-hit innings. There was your lesson. The sinker is your best pitch.
Well, he has been sinker heavy so far in this game and has kept the Yankees off the scoreboard. DJ LeMahieu up with 2 aways. We go back to the top of the lineup. He grounded to third in his first at bat. LeMahieu just looking to build back up to that consistency that is his hallmark as he lifts that one out to right field. Gomez is there, and that will do it. So 3 innings up, 3 innings down. We're scoreless in Tampa. Tonight on Yes, the Brooklyn Nets head to Milwaukee for a big matchup with Giannis and the Bucks. Coverage begins at 7:30 with tip-off shortly after 8 on Yes and streaming on the Yes app. Great to have you back with us. We get back to business. The number 3 hitter, Jordan Walker, coming up with a base hit to lead things off here in the 4th against Garrett Cole.
You look at the Cardinals outfield, and we're also going to look at this pitch, fastball, and Walker is right on top of it. The Cardinals haven't been able to do much against that fastball today, but here's the 20-year-old kid, 6'6", just lining this one to left field. Nootbaar, O'Neill, and Carlson were expected to be their starting outfield, but Derek Gould, who covers the Cardinals for the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, he has written that they are taking a very close look at Walker, and they are going to give him every opportunity to make the team. Last year at AA, 19 homers, slugging percentage of over 500. He's the #1 prospect in the St. Louis organization.
He was a first-round draft pick in 2020 out of Stone Mountain, Georgia, and Jack drafted as a third baseman, an infielder. But what do you do when you have an incredibly talented player and he's blocked by Nolan Arenado at third? You make him an outfielder.
You make him an outfielder, you watch him blossom. And you mentioned that 2020 draft. Remember, that was the draft that was impacted by the pandemic. It was only 5 rounds. Cardinals drafted Walker. They drafted Wynn, who is at shortstop right now. And they also drafted Burleson, who was originally in the starting lineup, but then was scratched with an ankle injury. So talk about a fertile draft.
And they're known for keeping their players down just long enough, but then giving them an opportunity maybe sooner than some teams would. So maybe that's why some think that Walker can crack that opening day roster. This is Juan Yepez, the first baseman, popped to short in his first at bat. And swings feebly at that slider away. Strikeout number 7 for Garrett Cole.
Yeah, Cole taking advantage of the aggressiveness of a hitter. I mean, this pitch bounces before it gets to Trevino, way out of the strike zone. And Aaron Boone has seen enough.
So terrific work from Garrett Cole against the Cardinals today. 7 strikeouts. We'll talk more about him as the afternoon goes on, but we'll step aside for a moment here on Yes. Garrett Cole electric, mainly because of his electric fastball.
Right, fastball inside right there to Carlson. That was in the first inning, and he just kept motoring after that. He was throwing the fastball in, Bob. He was throwing the fastball up. He mixed in some breaking pitches, but really it was #1 that guided him today. And Garrett Cole talked about that last year. Sometimes it's a reminder of just how good your fastball is, and it was terrific today.
7 strikeouts, including striking out the side in the top of the 3rd inning. Now here in the top of the 4th, he gives way to Greg Weissert out of the bullpen with 1 away and a man on first. Cole just 2 hits allowed this afternoon, no walks, 57 pitches.
So you would ask Cole right now, what's left for you to do with a few weeks left as you head toward opening day? 22 days away, actually, and we know he will get the ball that day. It's just about building up right now, Bob. 57 pitches. He obviously, the fastball looked good, the slider looked crisp. It's just about building up your arms so that you're ready to throw 100 pitches on opening day.
This is Nolan Gorman, struck out by Cole in his first at bat. Fouls that one away off Weissert.
Weissert was the International League Pitcher of the Year last year. Fordham product who came up to the Yankees and features a frisbee type slider. We see Cole still talking to Boone. You get in a spot like this, if you're Weissert, obviously the slider is going to play better against righties than against lefties. He goes fastball in that 0-2 situation.
If he wasn't a Fordham grad, would you have mentioned that?
I might not have been so demonstrative in mentioning it. Well, 2/3 of our broadcast team is Fordham today, myself and Mr. Shackle. You saw the numbers at AAA, but trying to find his way onto the roster.
A good little change right there. Misses as the count goes to 1-2, and Jordan Walker steals second base.
One more look at this. Great job by the Cardinals. You run on changeup, and Trevino, knowing that and knowing he didn't have a lot of time, unable to get the grasp of that pitch, and Walker dives in without a throw.
So man on second, 1 away, and Weissert missing with a changeup again, evens the count at 2-2.
It's only the top of the fourth, Bob. A lot of baseball left, but it's already been a great day for Aaron Boone because of what Garrett Cole did out there today. Just the life on his pitches, the location of his pitches, just how in command he was. There's a terrific luxury in having a #1 pitcher and an ace that you can trust and you can rely on. And Cole looked like a guy you'd be ready to give the ball for opening day 2 right now.
Two pitch to Gorman. Oh, nice little off-speed pitch there. Fooled him. His second strikeout of the afternoon. Weissert, his first.
Yeah, a little backdoor slider by Weissert. I talked about how his slider plays better against righties, but what he did in that at-bat, Bob, is he hung on to it. He saved it. He didn't let Gorman know that pitch might be featured, and then suddenly in a 2-strike spot, he gets the whiff.
2 away to the catcher, Trace Barrera. Felipe Barrera III, they call him Trace for obvious reasons. Grounded to second base in his first at bat.
When you look at that Yankee bullpen, Bob, several spots obviously already locked up when you talk about Holmes and Loaizaga and Peralta and others. Tommy Kahnle would have been one of those pitchers, but he's dealing with some biceps tendonitis, and with the season 22 days away, and Kahnle telling reporters he wants to be mindful of not coming back too quickly. How does the back end of that bullpen shake out? And does somebody like Weissert, who the Yankees were impressed with last year at the AAA level and then struggled with his command at the major league level, does he figure out a way to squeeze into that mix?
Struggling with command here against Barrera behind 3-0. Let's see how he battles back. Frisbee's up slider right there to get the count to 3-1. Good work by Weissert to get back in this at bat as Trevino gives it a look, but it's into the stands. So 3-2, and we'll see what happens with Walker on second base.
Weissert does a really nice job of concealing the baseball, Bob, and just adding to his deception. You see his setup, and you see the way his lead leg is at an angle, and then the way he kind of hides the ball and tucks it behind him a little bit. 3-2 here. We've talked about the slider. We're going to see another slider to the righty.
Drops a little slider in there, but misses low, so a 2-out walk and runners at first and second. And that'll bring up Moises Gomez. He struck out against Cole in the second. Ball getting away from Trevino, way outside on the sinker as the runners advance to second and third.
Yeah, you see Weissert just yank this one, and Trevino gets a glove on it, but it's able to skip past him. Rizzo comes across from first base to just remind Weissert he's still in control of this inning. He's got 2 outs. Yeah, he has a couple of players, a couple of runners in scoring position, but one good pitch away. That's what David Cohn and Andy Pettit and others would always tell themselves. You're one good pitch away from getting yourselves out of this inning.
And Jack, you mentioned his setup in the closed off stance. It's interesting to see with relievers and a lot of the things they do that in the past would not have beaten the pitch clock. He takes that one step, and then that second step really closes off as he comes set.
Yeah, definitely. Especially a righty would have a tough time seeing that ball coming out of his hand. I feel like Weissert would want me to mention, Bob, that the Fordham Rams will be playing in the Atlantic 10 tournament at Barclays Center. I'm sure he'll be watching and cheering.
That is a blistering sinker inside as Gomez swings through 2-2.
Yeah, this is just a terminator of a pitch. Gomez is not able to do anything with that, so he ends up swinging. And now if you're Weissert, you're in a good spot. You've shown him a sinker like that, so he needs to protect. You've got your slider. Throw the pitch that you feel most convicted in, and with Weissert, it's often a slider.
Goes sinker again there at 96. So you wonder if he felt so good about the one prior he went back to it. Now let's see what he goes to here. And gets the call on the outside part of the plate. Sneaks a little fastball in there and gets the out. So Weissert gets the job done. Scoreless as we head to the bottom of the fourth. Make every moment more. By your local Tri-State Volkswagen dealers and by Citizens. Made ready. Great to have you with us here on Yes and streaming on the Yes app. Bob Lorenz, Jack Curry, Justin Shackle with you as we take it to the bottom half of the fourth inning. On the Montefiore Einstein scoreboard. Scoreless, but perhaps that could change with the 2-3-4 hitters coming up for the Yanks. Leading off Aaron Judge, who singled in his first at bat.
Bob, when we talk about Aaron Judge's season, obviously the most important number, or the biggest number that everyone refers to, is 62. Obviously the 62 home runs, a new American League record. But I think a number that we should also highlight is 157. He was able to get 62 homers because Judge played 157 games. He stayed healthy. He stayed on the field. And the Yankees are hoping for that similar type of output this season.
Woodford drops a breaking ball in on a 2-0 count, so 2-1. And again, that shows Judge's patience. Thinking 2-0, maybe he's going to get a fastball, just lays off that pitch. That's that consistent quality eye he has.
Yeah, Woodford sneaks a sinker in there, so now it's 2-2. Woodford fighting his way back.
And goes with a fastball right there. So perhaps catching Judge a little off guard. He went with 2 off-speed pitches and then burned a fastball down the middle.
Yeah, I think based on Judge's reaction here, he was looking for something else because that pitch was right there. Perhaps he thinks that Woodford, who doesn't have an overpowering fastball, is not going to challenge him there. And maybe he was sitting breaking pitch, but Woodford gets his first K of the game.
Anthony Rizzo in his second at bat. Woodford starts him off with a breaking ball and misses. Rizzo grounded into a 4-6-3 double play in his first at bat. How key is it, in your opinion, that both Rizzo, who re-signed very early in the process, and then Judge ultimately are back on this team?
Well, Judge, my goodness, imagine where Yankee fans would be and just where the Yankees would be if they didn't have Judge back. That was their mission in the offseason, and they were able to make that happen for a 9-year deal. And I think the Rizzo move was an underrated move, Bob, because of what you said. First of all, it got completed early, and he's going to end up with a couple of bases here as he goes the other way. He's going to cruise into second with a double. 2-year, $40 million deal. Middle of November, the Yankees get that one done. Here's Woodford. A little off speed pitch, and Rizzo does a great job of taking it the other way. Nice look at his swing right there. Walker collects it in left field, but it's a stand-up double for Rizzo.
Great recognition on that pitch of the ball tailing away and just going with the pitch. So Rizzo on second, 1 away, and Stanton the batter. Stanton again getting the start in right field today with Judge in left, and he singled and got to third base in the second inning.
Strange season for Stanton, Bob. Obviously injury marred. Before the All-Star break, he had an .835 OPS with 24 home runs. Post All-Star break, a lot fewer at bats, 7 homers and an OPS of under 600. So when we talk about Judge, and one more look at this swing, just swings right over that pitch. And what is Judge going to do, and how is Judge going to follow up his big season? Well, David Cohn mentioned this in the conversation yesterday. It's also a matter of who else is going to contribute. What are you going to get from Stanton? What are you going to get from LeMahieu? What do Donaldson and Hicks give you? Can Rizzo repeat his season? It's not just what is Judge's encore after 62.
Stanton fouling that slider off to stay alive in the at-bat.
Should have mentioned when we talked about Judge being in left field and Stanton being in right field. At Yankee Stadium, left field is a cavernous outfield, whereas right field is cozier. So if you were going to go with that alignment at Yankee Stadium, you'd put Judge in left and Stanton in right.
And again fouling off a slider.
Now in some road stadiums, Bob, for instance Fenway Park, with the big green monster behind you and not a lot of room to cover, Yankees would be comfortable putting Stanton out there.
Rizzo on second, 1 away, 2-2 pitch.
That goes under the heading of a good miss, and I think Woodford even thinks that miss is the appropriate word, not just a good miss.
Stanton in on the hands. The pitcher will actually field it, which you don't see often, but the ball was not that high in the air, so it popped to the pitcher and 2 away.
Woodford's done a good job against Judge and Stanton in this inning, getting that fastball, that sinker in on Stanton's hands. Stanton not able to extend his arms. He gets tied up on it, and just that popper back to the mound. You like the red on red caps there, Bob?
Not loving them. No. I think you got to have some little color pop, don't you, for every logo?
Yeah, I think that the Cardinals gotta pop a little more. If you had some white, I realize these are just spring training caps.
But are they marketable? Yes. You can actually see some of the Cardinals fans. That gentleman standing up behind the plate looks like he might have one. Josh Donaldson, he walked in his first at bat, the second inning. Opportunity to knock in Rizzo with 2 away.
That's right.
And Rizzo looks at strike 2. Donaldson looks at strike 2.
I mentioned that interview that Donaldson did with Mark DeRosa of MLB Network earlier, and he blew DeRosa away because he said that he doesn't really worry about his hands, whereas most batters, it's all about your hands. But he said he doesn't worry about his hands. It's about effortless bat speed. It's about the whole kinetic chain and what he is doing with loading up his swing, moving his hips forward.
Well, it seemed often last year he was getting a little late on the fastball, a little ahead on the breaking ball, and he became something of a guess hitter. We'll see if that changes. 1-2. He guesses right on that. Doesn't swing on the breaking ball outside. Evens the count at 2-2.
Hitting is about success, and it's about confidence. And when you have confidence, you go up there believing that you can do damage. When you start to struggle, that confidence vanishes.
Another off-speed pitch, which Donaldson takes out to center field. Nice diving catch there by Mike Antico. Looked like it had a chance to drop, maybe not get a run for the Yanks, but it doesn't. And so we are through 4 in Tampa, scoreless between the Cards and Yanks. Great to have you back with us here on Yes. The Cards and Yanks scoreless on the top of the 5th on the Cadillac scoreboard as we welcome in Yankees manager Aaron Boone. And you came out last inning and pulled Garrett Cole out of the game. And I wanted to ask you, Aaron, he was heavy on the fastball. Was that a plan for him, or was that just he was feeling it and he went to that pitch?
Yeah, I think a little bit of both. His fastball has been really, really crisp all spring long. I thought he flashed some good cutters too in that left-handed at bat with Carlson to kind of get him off the four-seamer just enough, and then I was really glad to see him finish the day with kind of that put-away wipeout slider to get Yepes in the 3rd inning. So he's in a good spot, man. He's throwing the ball so well, and that fastball, just everything about it. I think the command of it, the life of it, the characteristic of it, everything, it looks really good right now.
Aaron, he threw 57 pitches, the 7 punch-outs. You and he had conversation in the dugout after he left. What was the detail about that?
Just talking through a couple hitters, the things I see within the outing that aren't all the pitching coach, and kind of from a hitter's perspective, and just walking through a couple things that I really liked on the day, but really just emphasizing just what a good place his fastball's in, and where he's at physically is really nice, and to get up to getting up close to 60 pitches now, it's been a good spring for him so far.
One away on the Weissert strikeout of Mason Wynn. Mike Antico, the number 9 hitter, is up. What do you like about Weissert so far? He struggled a little bit there, got behind a couple hitters last inning, but he seems like he could now factor in, especially with the injury to Kahnle.
Yeah, I mean, he's got outstanding stuff, and he's, it's unique too. It's kind of that cross body, that sliders, a pretty wicked pitch for him, but he's shown the ability. You'd think he'd just have that natural advantage against a right-handed hitter with that slot and across his body with the sinker and the slider, but he's got weapons for lefties too, and he's handled them well too. He was probably a little off command-wise last inning, but got through it, no problem, and good to see him get 2 quick ones here where he looks really sharp.
Judge in left, Stanton in right today. How often would you like to play Stanton in the outfield during the season?
That's a good question. Best case scenario, we're talking about, I don't know whether it's 40, 50, 60 games, kind of in that thing. If we can, go a full season where, we avoid IL stints or avoid anything. So talking on that front, I'd like to get him out there 40, 50, 60 times, and I think he's capable of that. And I think, again, I think it serves him well physically when he's doing that, and I think he likes that from a game standpoint too, being involved in the game some too.
I think some people have said when he started playing more outfield that, can he do it? Well, it's not like he didn't do it every day when he was with the Marlins before the trade. I mean, he's an athlete. You have every confidence that if you put him in right field mostly, or if you have to put him in left, let's say at Fenway, he can tackle that no problem, right?
Absolutely. He's fundamentally sound out there. He makes all the plays. If he gets his glove on it, you're out. And I think last year, I thought he played really well for us out there. So if we can keep him out there regularly, not only does he is he solid enough out there, but again, I think it serves our team well because it allows you to use that DH spot a little more strategically. But I think physically it serves him well when he's out there and has that little bit of workload going.
Aaron, Peraza has been dealing with a leg injury. He's been down for a few days. What's the update on him?
Yeah, he's good. He went through full workouts today. He'll be in there tomorrow, provided everything checks out all right at the end of the day, and he comes in tomorrow. But yeah, he's fine. It wasn't that big a deal, really.
2-2 pitch from Weissert to Donovan. And misses away 3-2. Aaron, you sort of, I guess, took a suggestion from Judge, or as he came to you and said, I can play left. Cabrera said, hey, I'd like a rep in center. We're going to see him out there later. Is the suggestion box open, by the way, or you're going to kind of shut it down there?
Can I answer that in a second? I'll be right back. I got to go take Weissert out.
All right, sounds good. So Greg Reiser will come out with the 2-out walk to the leadoff hitter Brendan Donovan. And eventually Dylan Carlson will be the hitter. But interesting to hear the number that he put, and it's a potential number, but on how many reps that Giancarlo Stanton could get in the outfield this year.
I think the fact that Boone did put a number on it just shows you how serious the Yankees are about this. Because remember last season when we would ask questions about Giancarlo in the outfield, Aaron Boone would say, he's getting closer. We're ramping up. We're getting toward that point. But for him to say 40, 50, 60 games in the outfield, we gave you the numbers earlier. He has only played 70-plus games in the outfield across the last 4 seasons. The other thing you mentioned, though, Bob, is Stanton likes it. And Stanton feels as if he's in the flow of the game more. So encouraging news in terms of your strategy. It gives you more flexibility.
Well, it's worked out well so far as Aaron Boone rejoins us. That was one of your best ever pitching changes, I think. We might nominate that for an Emmy.
Yeah. Well, I went to reach for the ball, and Weissert went for the handshake.
It's spring training. You got to work on those things. It'll all shake out.
That's right. So where were we?
Has the game? Oh, let's see. We were, well,
Suggestion box.
Suggestion box. That's right.
Well, I mean, if you want to throw one out there, it doesn't hurt to throw it out there and be heard.
Well, I want to ask you this, because the game is changing, obviously, going back to a little more speed, quality players at different positions. And some people might say, well, Judge in left or Cabrera in center. Why? In the past, they would have said that. I feel like today it's like, why not? Like, why not try these guys? Why not look for more versatility and more options? Is that a fair assessment?
Well, I think in Aaron's case, with our roster construction and Big G and our ballpark, you know, to get Aaron in the big field and left field, you know, obviously with Bader in center, just like that's a significant thing when you know, when you have a really good rangy outfielder in our big left field, or like Fenway Park in right field, you know, like they've had with Jackie Bradley or Mookie Betts, Shane Victorino over the years. Like it's, you know, it's a big thing at our ballpark. So to have that little bit of versatility is something Judgy and I talked about this winter, and something he's obviously very open to. So we'll see how it looks. I'm going to play him out there again tomorrow, and then we'll kind of see where we're at with it. And with Cabrera, I just want to get him everywhere. Like, he's that one guy on the field that you can kind of put him anywhere. And he's shown that, obviously. But center's the one place he hasn't been yet. So we'll get him out there and see how that looks. You ever get in a pinch, you know, I feel like Oswaldo can kind of go anywhere on the field and represent.
Dylan Carlson off Aaron McGarity just dunks one into left field in front of Aaron Judge, so that allows Brendan Donovan to move to third, as McGarity will face a first and third situation 2 away.
Aaron, I know that the shortstop discussion is an ongoing discussion, but how often would you say you speak with the coaches, you speak with the analytics people, just about where things stand right now in this moment as we're talking on March 8th?
I don't know necessarily
who might be leading the battle, so to speak.
I don't know how much I talk to everyone necessarily where it stands. Look, we're having baseball conversations as you're kind of coming and going throughout the day, and you're on backfields, and you're in, you know, in the bullpens, in my office. So more right now, it's just, you know, getting coaches' input and hearing what they're seeing, hearing what they're seeing, and you know, trying to make evaluations. But as far as meeting up and really having, you know, definitive conversations, those really haven't started, where we all, you know, really start to sit down and get in a room and people start making their cases and voicing their opinions in that kind of setting. Right now it's more casual, and where are these guys, and you're trying to, at this point in spring, still just treating it as trying to get individuals ready, you know, for a long season. And that's where we're at in the process right now.
McGarity facing the top young prospect for the Cardinals. First and third, it's Jordan Walker. He's 1 for 2. Tries to sneak a fastball in away. Fouls it away, keeps it 0-2. And I just noticed this, that McGarity, very similar to Weissert, kind of that closed off stance as he gets where it comes set.
He does. Got the mustache, too.
Yeah. 0-2 pitch, which Walker hits out to the gap in right center field. That will score a run as Donovan scores from third. Cardinals are on the board. It is 1-0 St. Louis. Not a lot of hard contact against McGarity, but Walker gets that ball in to get an RBI.
Aaron, it's not often that other major league players can go eye to eye or even pound for pound maybe with Aaron Judge, but Walker is one of those guys.
Yeah,
I don't know how much of him you've possibly seen, but trying to make the leap from Double-A, just an impressive athlete.
Yeah, I've seen some of the highlights. Obviously, he's having a great spring for them, and know he's, you know, pretty much at the top of the board in all of baseball from a prospect standpoint. So I know they're excited about him. I actually talked to Ali Marmol a little bit before the game and asked him about him, and they're certainly excited about him for good reason.
Brings up Juan Yepes, who has popped to short and struck out. How do you as a manager, again, when you're away from the field and you probably hear people say, give us Peraza, give us Volpe, give us, I'm curious how you answer those questions because you have to take it from such a different viewpoint than fans do.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm as excited as, you know, everyone else about some of our young kids that are now pushing the big league level and pushing for playing time and pushing for at bats and pushing for positions and for, you know, absolutely in the mix now. So it's exciting to see some of these guys, and, you know, obviously for Oswald and Anthony, those are two guys that are, you know, truly competing for, and their time is feels like it's coming. So you know, I hear it and share in the fan base's excitement about those guys.
2-1 pitch with runners on the move into foul territory. Anthony Rizzo over, but that'll go into the Yankees dugout.
Aaron, Yankee fans got a glimpse of Harrison Bader last year, and then obviously in the postseason, the 5 homers, so the offense was there. But as someone who watches obviously the games more closely than anyone, what is it that Bader does defensively that really makes him stand out?
Great routes and closing speed. You know, one of the areas that he's working on this spring, I know, is that first step in the outfield. But his ability to close on balls and route efficiency, and then being real fundamentally sound and an outstanding throwing arm. He just does so many good things in the middle of the diamond that make him elite in center field, which is saying something in our game.
All right, Aaron, we thank you for the time.
Right,
as always, good chatting with you this afternoon. And again, spring training is all about working things out. It's the handshake, the ball. It'll all work out by March 30th. There's no doubt about that. For an all-new edition of Yankees Magazine, and go behind the scenes at Steinbrenner Field in Tampa. And then at 10:30, catch the latest episode of Towing the Slab with David Cohn. That's tonight on Yes and streaming on the Yes app. As we continue here in Tampa, bottom of the 5th inning, new pitcher for the St. Louis Cardinals, Wilking Rodriguez, pitched in the Mexican League in 2022, trying to find a spot on their staff. Cardinals scored 1 on the RBI base hit by Jordan Walker in the top half of the 5th, so they lead it 1-0.
I loved Boone's description on what Bader brings defensively. I love that inside baseball stuff, what a guy who's been around the game for his entire life gives you. And interestingly, Bobby talked about Bader trying to get better at his jumps, and obviously the routes to the ball that he takes are exemplary, but trying to be quicker at getting a jump on a ball. And by the way, I have no idea if this means anything to anybody else, but I found this interesting. So if you go to Baseball Savant, they actually break down the depth at which a player is situated in the outfield. And last year, when Bader was playing center field for the Cardinals, Bob, he was 323 feet away from home plate. With the Yankees, he moved up a foot. It was 322
Really?
feet. So
Do you think he was aware of that?
That little
Probably.
That little difference, I just felt I needed to mention that.
It's a game of inches. Bader strikes out. 0 for 2 on the afternoon. Well, you can see the pitcher for the Cardinals. They're taking a chance on him out of the Mexican League. Wilking Rodriguez, that big over-the-top delivery, throwing 98 on the four-seam fastball.
Yeah, well, if you have high octane like that, you're going to get people to pay attention.
Aaron Hicks DHing today, popped to short his first time up.
You can definitely notice, Bob, we mentioned it in his previous at-bat, but those hands with Hicks are definitely higher than they have been in the last couple of years.
I guess the challenge for him, though, is consistently keeping them up. You do see there are times when he drops them back down a little bit. Not sure that's part of what he was planning to do. He also has been noted just chokes up slightly on the bat. I'm pretty sure he didn't do that last year.
You have the kind of season that Hicks had, and he talks about being disappointed in it. You go into the hitting laboratory, you try and make some changes, you try and see what worked for you in the past. The hands up is something that worked for him in 2018.
That's a little number. The third baseman, Gorman, has it. On to first, 2 away. And again, the Cardinals in that at bat shifted as much as they could, with the shortstop playing over by second base and the third baseman closer to the shortstop spot. That'll bring up Jose Trevino here in the bottom of the 5th. Flew out to center field in his first at bat. And first pitch swinging, lifts that one to second base. And he's got it. And that will do it. A 1-2-3 inning for Wilking Rodriguez and the Cardinals. We head to the top of the 6th. Birds up 1-0. Join the Yankees Universe fan club today. Members enjoy exclusive benefits like 2 tickets to a 2023 home game, access to a members-only website, 10% off at the Yankees.com shop, and fast-track entry at Yankee Stadium. Rookie-level members also receive a Yankees t-shirt. Join now at Yankees.com/universe. Great to have you back here in the top half of the 6th inning. Coming out of the bullpen now for the Yanks, Clay Holmes. You know what he did last season, 20 saves and 25 opportunities. And as we go in here in the top of the 6th, facing Nolan Gorman, the third baseman, where does Holmes stand right now? We'll talk about that, but right now let's send it downstairs at the stadium. Justin Shackle with today's starter, Garrett Cole.
Fastball as well as you were this afternoon. What are you most pleased with?
Just attacking the strike zone and you know, obviously seeing some of the hard work pay off, you know, in between the starts.
57 pitches, 7 strikeouts. Not just the fastball, though. What else were you pleased with?
There was a couple good cutters, and I thought that the slider improved as the day went on. So,
what do you think is left for you to do to be ready to potentially throw that 100 pitch count on opening day?
Yeah, 43 more pitches, and so we got a few weeks to get there.
As far as building up, what's on the to-do list?
Just keep building the foundation, you know. Fastball command, breaking balls for strikes. Curveball's not been a strike recently, so that needs to get a little bit better. And changeups have been in good spots, but not strikes. Haven't gotten anybody to go fishing on it. So probably try to get the breaking balls in the zone a little more off speed.
Energy is always a thing in clubhouses, obviously. How would you rate the energy in this clubhouse as the day-to-day grind kind of begins with games every day?
I mean, I think we're doing great. I mean, I think I think everybody's kind of in that point where, you're starting to settle into the grind a little bit physically, and so maybe some fine tweaks are starting to happen. But we had a really nice lineup out there today, and I just enjoyed playing with the guys.
When you see this lineup, you have Aaron Judge in left, Stanton in right. A lot of guys are getting a lot of run at different positions. Who are you excited to watch next at a certain spot?
Oh, I don't know. It's always cool to see what kind of magic Cabrera can bring, just because I love those type of players. It brings to mind like Josh Harrison from Pittsburgh days, Sean Rodriguez. It's just like, what a special talent. Guys work their whole careers on refining like one position, and this guy comes out and just plays above average, and it's just really special to watch.
Garrett, thanks for the time today. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, thank you.
Justin, thank you for that. Again, Garrett was terrific today with his 7 strikeouts. As you said, Jack, 57 pitches. It's a ramp-up process. So next time, probably what, 70, 75?
70, 75, but the goal is to get to 100. As he said to Justin, 43 more pitches. Holmes just struck out the side, Bob.
Yeah, we didn't even really have time to talk about it. We'll do that on the backside of this. Game on Yes is tomorrow afternoon as the Yankees host the Boston Red Sox at Steinbrenner Field. Coverage begins at 1 o'clock. And remember, Yankees opening day is inching closer 3 weeks from tomorrow as the Bombers battle the San Francisco Giants exclusively on Yes and the Yes app. Bottom half of the 6th inning in Tampa, the lefty Zach Thompson will take the mound for the Cardinals. Last season, 22 games, mostly out of the bullpen. Solid ERA, 2.08. Little dicey on the strikeout to walk ratio, just a 2-to-1 ratio.
Bob, I'm going to hold you to your word. Got to talk a little Clay Holmes there. Just zipping through that 6th inning as Justin was talking to Garrett Cole. Gets 3 Ks. The sinker looked good. Obviously, he throws that pitch, or did throw it, 80% of the time last year. When he spoke to Justin yesterday, he talked about using the PitchCom device as a pitcher. Of course, that still has to be approved by Major League Baseball and the Players Union. And he kind of chuckled when he said to Justin, well, I throw 2 pitches. I throw the sinker and the slider, and there might be times where he's feeling more conviction about the slider. So for him, a PitchCom device could work because there's not a lot of decisions to be made, and there might be a moment where rather than wait for the catcher to make the choice, he might just press the button for slider. But what a demanding and decisive outing by him right there, just zipping through that inning.
That was good to see as Isaiah Kiner-Falefa bats here in the bottom of the 6th. Grounded to third base his first time up.
And when you talk about a team having interest in a player and wanting to acquire a player, when the Yankees were interested in acquiring Holmes from Pittsburgh, that sinker and how they felt that sinker would play was a heavy reason why they wanted Cole. And when they did get him, they showed him why they felt that sinker played and why they felt that he should throw that pitch more. It's what teams do in trying to identify a player's strengths and then trying to get that player to utilize that strength as often as possible.
Now, he did get injured at times last season, but also in that second half when the sinker was not as effective. Was it, as Isaiah Kiner-Falefa strikes out looking, had the spin rate changed? Had something changed for him?
Right. I remember doing a show with John Flaherty, obviously former Major League catcher, and you wonder about, did a pitcher lose his arm angle a little bit, and was the sinker not exactly going where he wanted to at that moment? And here's your center fielder, Bob. Cabrera is in the plate now, at the plate right now. We talked about his ability to play all over the field. He told Ryan Rucco and I during a game the other day that the one position he'd like to play if he was making out the lineup was center field, and voila, a few days later he is a center fielder for the New York Yankees, joining DiMaggio, Mantle, Bernie Williams on down the line.
Yankees have made several changes as he fouls that one up and out of play. So we'll detail those as we go through the lineup here and reset the defense. 4 or 5 changes, but Cabrera in center is an interesting option. You just feel like you have no doubt that he could handle it out there. In fact, he's shown plus defense when he's been in the outfield.
He had played more than 500 minor league games without an inning in the outfield before the Yankees gave him some reps in the outfield. And then Bobby came to the major league level and, as you said, just handled it so flawlessly. He had 13 defensive runs saved as an outfielder last year.
Well, that is a good breaking ball. And another strikeout for Thompson.
Yeah, there's a lot of depth and a lot of spin and a lot of tilt and a lot of swing and miss. If you throw that pitch like that, Cabrera unable to do any damage. But going back to the Cole interview with Shackle, pretty cool when, as Willie Calhoun steps in, pretty cool when one of your teammates, and I'm going to use the word giddy, gets giddy in describing your ability. And that's the way Cole sounded when talking about Cabrera, and even comparing him to the likes of Josh Harrison, his former teammate, and Sean Rodriguez, who of course with the Rays for a while was a guy who could play all over the place. Other players are in awe of what you can do in moving around the diamond.
Thompson relying on the breaking ball, goes with a 4-seam fastball there, moves the count to 1-2 on Calhoun.
Calhoun, 5'8". That's what he did last year at the major league level. Had a big season with Texas in 2019. Injuries hurt him in 2020 and 21, but in that 2019 season, Bob, 21 homers, an OPS of almost 850, and puts the ball in play. That year, 337 plate appearances. He only whiffed 53 times.
2-2 pitch with 2 away, and he reaches in for that breaking ball. Nowhere near the quality of what he's been throwing up there so far, so the count's at 3-2.
So if I'm Calhoun, and he doesn't need my advice because I just mentioned what he did in 2019, if a pitcher missed that badly with that pitch, I think you're getting a fastball here in 3-2.
And he did, and he hammered that out to left field. The walker's there, and that will do it. So a 1-2-3 inning, bottom of the 6th, as we take it to the top half of the 7th in Tampa. 1-0 Cards.
That the play in center field was a good spring training out, but overall this spring, how would you rate the quality of your at-bats?
I feel like it's progressing, and each and every day I kind of get out there. Tomorrow will be my first back-to-back, so it'll be nice to kind of get some at-bats in consecutive days, but I feel like it's progressing in the right way, and putting in the time and energy to try to hopefully build up and peak at the right time.
Where do you think you are right now compared to this time last year?
I mean, this time last year, I think we'd be almost packing up, getting ready to go back to New York. So, I mean, we have a little bit more time to kind of get into the flow of things and to kind of work our normal kind of progressions going into the year. But I feel great. Body's been responding really well, and I'm excited, for the season when it gets here.
Aaron Boone has told reporters repeatedly this spring, you'd be foolish, and I'm paraphrasing here, you'd be foolish to count Josh Donaldson out. Does that fuel you a little bit, the doubts from the outside?
Well, I mean, I've had let's just say a lot of extra added motivation for my offseason to go into it and get myself where I wanted to be. Obviously, last year was not the year that I wanted for myself personally. Our team had some success, but ultimately, we fell short of our ultimate goal. And I look forward to helping our team contribute and in ways of winning ball games, and really just kind of get into that flow of with the expectations to go up there, have success, and win, and ultimately accomplish our goals as a team.
What do you think can be different about the lineup this year?
I mean, I think if I'm even remotely close to my normal self, I think that kind of helps out. But I mean, I think we have a lot of guys on our team that are really good hitters. I think it starts with Big G, Rizzo, and DJ, and Judge. I think I said Judge. Did I? I mean, how could I forget that guy? But at the end of the day, I think we have a lot of guys that can hurt you in a lot of different ways. And I think we have a team that can grind some at-bats out and put stress on the other team.
I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about Anthony Volpe, because you've been playing alongside him for a couple of these games here. What are your impressions of the 21-year-old?
I mean, he's got a really good head on his shoulders. I think he knows what he wants to do, and he's still trying to learn. I think as anybody in the game, that's what we're trying to do. But, I think he's got that. He's special, and he's one of those talents that, you don't get to see very often, especially for a young kid his age, to be able to come up here, big league at-bats, and, really, I think he's turning some heads in camp. Let's just put it quite frank.
Josh, thanks for the time. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Justin, thank you for that. The interview of the day brought to you by your local Ford stores. Some terrific insight there from Josh Donaldson on his season last year and what might be ahead for him in 2023 as Wandy Peralta is now pitching, allowed the leadoff double and a little bunt single there. Runners at first and third with nobody away.
Donaldson in 2021, Bob, hit 26 homers, had an .827 OPS with the Twins, and the Yankees thought there was more to come. They thought there were numbers that said he would be even better for them in 2022. But you just heard him say it. It was a disappointing season for him. He had 15 homers. The OPS was .682. It was a struggle. Defensively, he was stellar. There were pitchers who actually would go to the Yankee coaching staff and talk about how much they loved having Donaldson at third base. But in that interview with Justin, you could sense that there's a little frustration. There might be a little chip on the shoulder. This is a guy who has an MVP on his shelf and realizes he's got to come back and prove himself. He's 37 years old. There are questions about what he can do for the Yankees in 2023. We can all ask those questions. We can all speculate. There's one guy who controls the results of where Josh Donaldson's Yankee career goes from here.
2-1 pitch to Brendan Donovan, who lifts that one out to right. There's no doubt about that one. That goes deep out to right and gone. A 3-run home run for the Cardinals as they take a 4-0 lead.
Donovan had 5 homers for the Cardinals last year. Peralta with a couple of guys on base wants to make sure he's throwing strikes. He throws that one, and Donovan pretty much knows right away. Just crushes it over the right field fence for a 3-run shot.
Cardinals have kept their starters in a little longer just to get some extra at bats. That certainly paid off for Donovan there. And now Dylan Carlson struck out a couple times and singled in his last at bat.
It's a rare sighting right there, Bob. A left-on-left home run against Peralta last year. 77 plate appearances against left-handed batters. He allowed 1 home run. And he dominated lefties. Lefties hit 155 against him.
Back to Donaldson for a moment, what he was saying, Jack. As that ball is ground to third base on the first one away. What he was saying about the offense, and if he can get back up to par, and a player like Aaron Hicks can do that. And it's remarkable to think how good that offense could be after they won 99 games last year and won the division, and they could be so much better if 1 through 9 can pretty much live up to the back of their baseball card.
199 games. We're first in the major leagues in home runs. We're second in runs scored. A lot of that obviously coming from Aaron Judge. But who are the players that are going to back up Judge? Who are the players who are going to support him offensively? And I think Donaldson's interview with Justin, there was a lot of honesty in there. He talked about himself. He didn't start talking about anybody else. He said, if I'm remotely close to what I think I should be. So he is pointing the fingers right back at himself. But obviously DJ LeMahieu was injured for the last part of last season. Stanton, we already mentioned it, struggled in the second half. Hicks and Donaldson are players who surely feel that they can contribute more. Rizzo hit 32 home runs. The Yankees would love to see him repeat that. Trevino, as much as we focus on his defense, and he is as elite as they come. His second half wasn't what he wanted it to be, and then he was 1 for 22 in the postseason. So a lot of players, a lot of question marks. I also love, by the way, what he said about Volpe. Imagine if you're Anthony Volpe and you just heard Donaldson, a former MVP, say a player like that only comes around once in a while.
Yeah. Yeah, that's special. There's no doubt about it. This is Jordan Walker. This is the way the Cardinals feel about this guy. He got the Cardinals on the board in the 5th inning with an RBI single, but strikes out there, 2 away.
And there's that changeup that Peralta features so much, including to lefties. Messes with the timing of Walker and gets the whiff there.
Two away. Juan Yepez, or Yepez is the batter. Another good changeup, just foul.
We talked about Trevino earlier. It's Narvaez behind the dish right now, catching Peralta. Got a game-winning home run to his credit already this spring. Walk-off home run.
The changeup has certainly gotten better the last couple batters. Hard shot. What a nice play. And the drop at first base, unfortunately, by McKinney. That was Wilmer Defoe at short. Terrific play there, but McKinney just could not handle the throw.
Yeah, this ball is scorched, and you're right, Bob. Defoe with a terrific play to go to his left, and then the throw. Yeah, first baseman's got to make that play. McKinney will tell you that. Throws a tad low, but McKinney, if you stretched toward the shortstop, you would have extended yourself a little more. Yeah, that's a play that has to be made.
So 2 away, runner on first. And Nolan Gorman is the hitter.
But you talk about unlocking things with players, Bob. We mentioned earlier with Holmes and the sinker. And by the way, I said he struck out the side. That inning went so fast. There was a ground out in there. So there was contact made. But the Yankees also with the changeup in terms of Peralta. That was a pitch that they spied with him with the Giants. And he barely threw it to left-handed batters. And the Yankees said, this is a pitch that can work against lefties for you. And Peralta has used that as a weapon against lefties.
Well, we were talking about Holmes earlier, and he ended up being the closer, and then as things changed in the second half of the season, a little more by committee. We saw Peralta close some games, Loaiziga. Where does Peralta factor in right now?
Oh, Peralta to me is that Swiss Army knife type. Wherever you think there's a spot where his arsenal and his funkiness can work, whether it's the 5th inning or the 8th inning, and you see a sequence of batters that you think will work in your favor, you go for it. He's got one of the highlights of the spring, Bob. He got through an at-bat. He got through a strikeout in 20 seconds. I'm not sure any other pitcher would be that aggressive and that cool in doing that.
Come set, and why waste any time, right? Go right after him, and that's what he did with Gorman, and that will do it. But the Cardinals put a 3 spot on the board here in the top of the 7th and lead it 4-0. Here on Yes is Michael Kay, Don LaGreca, and Peter Rosenberg offer their opinions and analysis of all the local teams, plus an entertaining look at the day's headlines with ENN. Watch the Michael Kay Show today following the Yankees game on Yes. We're back with you here in the bottom half of the 7th inning. Yanks in a 4-0 hole right now against the Cardinals. Ryan Lautos, the new reliever out of the bullpen for the Cards. And again, there have been some wholesale changes for the Yankees as well. First up, leading off the bottom of the 7th is Westbrook. Jamie Westbrook, a .254 hitter at AAA last year with 11 homers. You can see the Cardinals have some of these young pitchers that are power arms. We saw Rodriguez earlier, and Lautos comes in throwing 96. Chopper, high throw, stayed on the bag, and Westbrook is out, one away.
I wanted to go back to something that Josh Donaldson said about Volpe, talking about him opening up eyes. I did a podcast with John Heyman and Joel Sherman yesterday, the New York Post podcast. It's actually on the Yes app. It's called The Show, and David Cohn was on it too. And we talked about the shortstop position and the battle for the Yankees in spring training as Florial's at the plate now. And I pointed out that Volpe only has about 100 plate appearances at AAA. He's got about strikeouts in 1/3 of those plate appearances. And then in Brian Cashman's history, and he has told me this, that they like players to conquer a level before promoting them to the next level. And when you look at what Volpe has done this spring, and it's been terrific, and he's opening up eyes, I said you also have to look at what happened at AAA last year. And then Coney, because he's Coney, always looks at things in his own way, his own insightful way, as Florial goes down on the fastball there. He said with the new rules in baseball and the absence of extreme shifts and the bases being close to each other, athleticism is necessary. And he said Volpe's an athlete, and wherever you end up putting him, your team is probably going to be better on that day because he's out on the field. David said, I'm not sure where that puts him. I'm not sure who might be sitting down, but I would want the athlete out on the field. And I thought it was a very compelling argument.
There is no doubt he could help things at the major league level. The question is when. We can talk more about that coming up. We're headed to the top of the 8th, 4-0 Cardinals. Welcome back to Yankee Spring Training, brought to you by your local Ford stores. Jack Curry, your next trip to the beach, is there any of that involved in your future? A little kite surfing?
I don't want to show off, Bob.
Because you know somebody will film it, it'll go viral, right? Yeah, I get it.
I was in Bonaire and watched folks doing that. I was amazed.
Defoe over to first, one away, one pitch. Tanner Tully, the new pitcher for the Yanks, the lefty.
See, we did at AAA for Cleveland last year. And then you see in the lower part of that graphic, he actually made it up to the Guardians for 3 games. Drafted out of the Ohio State University. Throws a 4-seam fastball, a slider, a changeup, and a curve.
That is a ground ball. Third base on the first 2 pitches, 2 away. Ground ball machine so far.
How about you, California guy? Any kite surfing in your
I have not
history?
done that. I would do it, though. I mean, you've been able to stay up on a paddleboard, so I know that you could handle a kite surf.
Stay up on a paddleboard. I like what you, not excel, not move gracefully, stay up on a paddleboard. And you're right, that's a perfect description.
Mason Wynn has been the shortstop all along. This is his 4th at bat. Hit by a pitch, struck out, and doubled and scored a run in the 7th.
According to MLB Pipeline, he's a 50th best prospect in Major League Baseball. He and Walker are very close, both drafted out of high school in 2020.
Trying to dunk that one into center field. Oswaldo Cabrera. Do you expect anything else from wherever the Yankees put him on the field? What a terrific diving catch by Cabrera to make it a quick inning for Tanner Tully and the Yankees. Again, a little flare, and there's Cabrera, always the man on the spot. Terrific defensive play as we head to the 9th. Good to have you back with us in Tampa. Billy McKinney, the batter, leading off things in the bottom of the 8th. You take one more look, Jack, at that catch by Oswaldo Cabrera. And again, just do whatever you want to out there. He can do it.
We had him mic'd up. We asked him what position would he want to play. He requested center field, and he did it with a smile. Aaron Boone had it all ready to go, and then you get back to the dugout and you celebrate after that play. But what a dynamic, young player, the ability to play so many positions. We mentioned it earlier. Here's Garrett Cole talking about him so giddily as we see McKinney ground out in the infield. Cabrera asks for center field. Hey, put him out there, and he makes a highlight reel play. He makes it look easy, Bob, and it's not.
Well, that position chart says it all. 36 games in the outfield last year. He can play any infield position. He picked up the first baseman's mitt jack and looked comfortable over there as well.
And he plays these positions at an above average level. It's not just that you're sticking someone at that position and hope the ball is never hit there. You put Cabrera at those positions defensively, and he's a weapon for you. And when you talk about what's going on in left field and the competition out there, Cabrera's in that competition, but to me, Bob, Cabrera's value is what we just showed. You don't want to lock Cabrera into one position. You want to be able to play him at any of 6 positions.
So we're in the bottom of the 8th with the Cardinals up 4-0. I think the pace of play has affected me because I said top of the 9th. I cheated the Yankees out of a half inning, so here they are batting in the bottom of the 8th. I'll get it, though. You and I have a few more reps coming up.
We all have a little spring training hiccup now and again. I had Holmes with a 1-2-3 strikeout inning. And here's what we were talking about, Bob. He's out in center field with Luis Rojas. Obviously, he's played some left. He's played some right. He wanted to take a rep in center. And this is not just Aaron Boone patting Cabrera on the back and saying, hey, go out and give center a shot. This is something that you could see happen during the season. That's why you play games in spring training, and that's why you experiment. I ran into Cabrera at an event in New Jersey about a month ago before spring training, and we were talking about his status on the team, and he said similar to what I had just said earlier about just wanting to play. And wherever the Yankees want to put him, that's where he wants to be. And I also complimented him, Bob, because earlier this year he did a charity appearance where a young player said to him, what's your favorite place to play? And Cabrera's answer was wherever the manager puts me that day. And I thought for a major league player to say that to a kid, it was so refreshing. It was just go out and play. Go out and have fun. Continue to love the game. And wherever they put you on that day, enjoy it.
As Wilmer Difo bats, and it is amazing too, isn't it, watching wherever he does play in a game, that he has an impact somehow in that game. It just, the ball seems to find him. He has a big hit. Just him being in the game, as Josh Donaldson said, adds that different energy.
Yeah, it happened earlier in his career.
Actually, that was Garrett Cole that said that when he was talking to Justin Shackle. Fly ball center field, 2 away.
He's out in right field, robbing home runs, making terrific throws, and we're saying to ourselves, wait a second, this is the kid who barely played the outfield in the minor leagues, but he plays the game with passion. He plays the game with joy. And it's just so infectious. You watch him play, and you could just see the excitement oozing out of his pores.
Strike in there to Carlos Narvaez, who came on for Jose Trevino to do the catching.
When we were fortunate enough to have Cabrera mic'd up the other day, Bob, I'm not sure if you saw this or not, but it was a really windy day. He was such a help to myself and Ryan Rucco that he even did the thing that we were taught to do in Little League. He reached down, took a few blades of grass, and threw it in the air and said, see, this will tell you how the wind is shifting from side to side right now.
He can also apply that if he decides to pick up golf clubs and play, see which way the wind's blowing.
I have a feeling whether he's done that or not, if he did do that, he'd probably be pretty good at it.
Yeah. 1-2 pitch, well struck by Narvaez to the gap in left center field, but the center fielder tracks it down, and that will do it. Yankees strand a runner here in the bottom of the 8th as we go to the top of the 9th.
Advisor for baseball operations this offseason, so you're brand new here. What are some of the first items on the to-do list when you come to spring training with a new team?
Well, the first item, of course, is to try to learn. Be a listener, not a talker. Listen to staff. For me, to be able to work with Cash and work with the other guys, and Booney and all that. Really to listen and to watch, and to really, as an evaluator, kind of see the system, see the players, but also how things are done. So for me, as a first-year guy, you want to just learn as much as you can, especially in spring training, where you have the whole organization together from top to bottom. The players, the major league players, the minor league players, clubhouse people. So it's more of a learn more, listen more, say less.
Learn, observe, watch. This is low-hanging fruit for me here. What are you seeing right now?
Well, what I am seeing, of course, is a very professional, established organization that has been very successful. When you look at the track record as far as winning, what I'm seeing also is a leadership group from Cash, like I said, and Booney, that pretty much are focused with high standards. What I'm seeing a minor league system that's developing players. When you look at the Dominguez, when you look at the Volpes, you got a good blend of guys. And of course, is the brand, the Yankee brand. Growing up in New York, just the impact of the brand and how much that brand, how much the standards are when you're a Yankee, the expectations are. You expect to be playing in October. And where we are right now, it's not only playing in October, but expect is, you want to get to the World Series and you want to win the World Series. So what I'm seeing is a lot of good things. I'm seeing good staff, really diverse staff as far as internally, a good blend of what we call traditional baseball people, bringing Brian Savins on board, having Jim Hendry on board, having Tim Neri on board, and then having real bright, young data people, if you want to call it data. Some people call it analytics. I call it smart people. So you have a blend of that tradition with working together. So to me, I've seen a lot of different things, and I can understand why this organization has been in the playoffs for so many years.
When you talk about that blend, you have that scout's eye, and you mentioned two prospects that people want to know a lot more information about. What sticks out to you about Jason Dominguez and Anthony Volpe?
Well, as a talent evaluator, the first thing that sticks out to me is they play in the middle of the field. You know what I'm saying? And players that play in the middle of the field, to me, I love guys that play in the middle of the field. You have a lot of talent in baseball right now, but players that play in the middle of the field are able to have long careers because they'll adjust and play other parts of the area. To me, winning team, winning organizations, you are talent in the middle of the field. Dominguez is a center fielder. Volpe is a shortstop. Where they end up, but I think they're going to play right where they started. But it's not only about them. You also have your other young kids that are in the organization. But those two guys stand out because of their age. They perform well. They're playing at higher levels. And they're baseball players. One thing about Volpe is a guy that knows how to play the game. Jersey kid, I'm always going to be a little biased because being from Jersey, you're going to always be biased for those kids. But Dominguez, and of course, being Dominguez a Dominican, is another thing. So I'm in a good spot with these two guys. But it's not only about those two guys. There's other real good players in the organization.
Yeah, there's some names on the upcoming for sure with the Yankees minor leagues. Omar, thanks for the time. Welcome aboard.
Thank you for having me here, and looking forward to it.
Justin, thank you. We will step aside as we head to the bottom of the ninth, and the Cardinals leading it 4-0. Last chance coming up for the Yanks. Yankee Spring Training on Yes is presented by your local Ford stores. When it comes to capability, this lineup is game day ready. Ford, official SUV of the Yankees. Great to have you back with us. Bottom of the ninth. One more chance to see an Oswaldo Cabrera at bat with the Yanks down 4-0. Leading off the bottom of the ninth. We've seen a great defensive play. How about a nice at bat?
All right, Whitley throws hard. Cabrera in there. The Yankees have been shut out so far, so Cabrera trying to get something done in the ninth inning. But I mentioned this earlier, Bob. This was a good day for Aaron Boone by the fourth inning because of what Garrett Cole did. 3+ innings, the 2 hits, didn't allow a run, the 7 strikeouts. We talked about the explosiveness of the fastball. Thought the breaking pitch was good. He also and Boone both spoke about his cutter, the ball coming out of his hand so neatly. And sometimes, because of my print journalism background, I start to think of what my lead would have been to a story. And if I was writing a story about Garrett Cole today, the lead would be 43 more pitches. That's what he told Justin. What's left for him this spring? Go from 57 to 100.
Well, Cabrera with a little extra spin on that ball, a little extra sizzle, and the shortstop couldn't handle it, so he's aboard.
Rivas at shortstop, unable to collect that shot by Cabrera, so the Yankees have a base runner.
Willie Calhoun flew out to left field in his first at bat. One of the other sub-storylines for this game, first chance for Judge in left, first chance for Stanton in right, came through it fine, and each of them had a single.
Right, and I think even beyond that, Bob, not just the fact that that was in play, but Aaron Boone telling us during his interview that he would like to see Stanton in the outfield 40, 50, 60 games this year. That gives the Yankees some flexibility. It gives them some options. I think Stanton is athletic enough to do it. He's done it in the past. We've mentioned this a couple of times. His first season with the Yankees, he played 72 games in the outfield. Since then, in the mid-70s.
4-6-3 double play as Cabrera is erased at second and Calhoun at first. Yanks 1 out away from taking a 4-0 loss. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the New York Yankees and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. Jamie Westbrook, last chance right now at least for the Yanks. He grounded to short in his first at bat this afternoon.
Weissert and Holmes were solid out of the bullpen. Peralta was touched up for that 3-run homer by Donovan. We mentioned very rare to see a lefty do that to Peralta. He only allowed 1 home run to a lefty batter all of last season.
Again, another hard thrower out of that bullpen for the Cardinals. They got a lot of power arms out there. And quickly, Westbrook in a 1-2 hole.
Did that look like 93 to you?
No.
Didn't look like 93 to me. I don't think it looked like 93 to Westbrook either.
No. 1-2 pitch. Goes off speed, a little chopper to short. Rivas has it, and that will do it. As again, the story for the Yanks pitching today with Garrett Cole looking very good as he pitched into the 4th inning. But the Yankees offense couldn't get it going. Just 5 hits as they fall to the Cardinals 4-0 in Tampa. Jack and I will be back to wrap things up right after this.